have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamar and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of every welcome.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of Famous Fun.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins or your Sunday vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Exit stage left. Okay, so let's get into it. Hello, Juju. Vince, I am from the UK. Chris B in the house. Pearly. All right, Juju said the Queen is queening. Thank you. All right, Pearly is here. Rock Fire. I hope I said your name correctly. Charlene Ray Williams. Okay, Maurice is here. King Legine in the house. All right, Cherokee Descendant Dale. So let's get ready to get into it. I see you wavy though. Salaikum salam, Danielle beloved. Lindia is here. Lillian X, Mary Jones, RG Titan, Lana L, 504 Nola, 3601, Amma Moore. Okay. Nessie X is here. Lamar Buckhorse DC. Ladybug 77. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. So let's get into it. I apologize for being late, beloveds. All right. I apologize for being late. But y'all know how it is. First of all, I had technical difficulties. And then I lost one of my receipts. I had to find it again. Okay, so let's get into it. First things first. Let's talk about this very important issue. Now, we know all about the school to prison pipeline. But now listen, here's what they've been doing lately. They've been sending people's children to get mental health evaluations simply because they're misbehaving in school. And they do this without the parents' consent. And one school, in fact, has had numerous of occasions where the police have shown up to the school and taken children away. Okay? So here's what they say. This is from Salisbury, Minnesota. Now, I'm sorry, Salisbury, Maryland. Now, they say 3 times per week, on average, a police car pulls up to a school in Wicomico County on Maryland's eastern shore. A student is brought out, handcuffed, and placed inside for transport to a hospital emergency room for a psychiatric evaluation. Now, over the past 8 years, the process has been used at least 750 times on students. Now, some are as young as 5 years old, and I'm willing to bet money that most of these children are the same skin tone as me. Now, the state law that allows for these removals, known as petitions for emergency evaluation, is meant to be limited to people with severe mental illness who are endangering their own lives or safety or that of someone else's. It's the first step toward getting someone involuntarily committed to a psychiatric hospital. See, this is why I absolutely promote homeschooling of your children, okay? These people are preying upon people's children in some of these cases. How many stories have I reported to you on as of late about people, teachers and staff, even the people that work in the cafeteria and things like that, preying upon people's children, SAing them and all of those things, putting nasty stuff in the food, doing a myriad of things, beating them, punching them, specifically nonverbal autistic children. I've told you all of these things. And now just listening to this, well, this is just yet another reason to homeschool your children. They say, but advocates say schools across the country are sending children to emergency rooms for psychiatric evaluations in response to behaviors prompted by bullying or frustration over assignments. So because a child gets frustrated, because they complain about bullying, or maybe they are a bully, so that's a reason for them to send them to get psychiatric evaluations. And I'm sure if that were really their concern, they could just simply talk to the parents about it and suggest to the parents that these things be done. What they are likely doing, this just is my opinion, is sending them to the psychiatrist of their own choosing, of course, where narratives can clearly be painted, okay? Because what are the parents supposed to do if they tell you that they deem that your child has mental illness? But let me continue. So they say, but advocates say schools across the country are sending children to these emergency rooms for these evaluations. Now, the ER trips that they say often follow months and sometimes years of their needs not being met. Black students are more frequently subjected to these removals than their peers. Well, of course they are. Isn't that the way it always goes? Black people come in last when it's anything good, but I promise you, we're always first when it's something to deal with nefariousness. That's why I had questions about that venom, but let me continue. All right. And this is according to data that's been available. Now, advocates point to students with disabilities also being removed at higher rates. That's because they don't want to deal with children who have disabilities. Some of the staff and the teachers, their patience grows short. They don't want to deal with these children. So let's just whisk them off away, have them sent away because they clearly have to have something wrong with them mentally. Schools focus on keeping kids out rather than keeping kids in. This is what Dan Stewart, managing attorney at the National Disability Rights Network, says. He says, I think that's the fundamental crux of things. Schools in Wicomico County agreed not to misuse emergency petitions as part of a 2017 settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice. Do they ever abide by the rules? At the end of the day, all they'll do is stand there in unison with one another and just tell lies. And who's going to be investigating these situations to make sure that they're not abusing this policy? But while the number of suspensions and expulsions declined, mandated trips to the emergency room ticked up. This is all crazy. This is all crazy. Vince I.M. said, I don't know the mental health system in the divided snakes, in the divided condom. It's atrocious. I can imagine, beloved. Okay? I can imagine. And so this is all. Buckhorse DC said, where's Mr. Hotel? Honey, Mr. Hotel has something else to do, Buckhorse DC. Now, this show must go on. I know y'all love when Mr. Hotel's in the chat, honey, but at the end of the day, he can't always be here, beloveds. Now, let me continue. Now, where is Mr. Hotel? Now, so they say, last year, children were handcuffed and sent to the emergency room at least 117 times, okay, from Wicomico schools. And that's about once per every 100 students, mind you. And this is according to data obtained by the public school records request, or from the public school records request in that county, according to the sheriff's office. At least 40% were 12 years of age or younger. More than half were Black. No surprise there. Even though a little more than a third of Wicomico public school children are Black. Okay? Little more than a third. Now, in interviews, dozens of students, parents, educators, lawyers, and advocates for students with disabilities in Wicomico County said a lack of resources and trained staff combined with a punitive culture in schools, in some schools, are behind the misuse of emergency petitions. I think racism is perhaps behind it too. I'm just saying. And here's the thing. You know, if this were really so, should I say, such a policy that's really beneficial, maybe we would have less school shootings. And most of the school shooters don't look like me. Let's keep that in mind. Also, why is this policy being used more so on younger children 12 and under, as young as 5 years old? Wouldn't you think that high school children in their teenage years would be more of a problem and easier to diagnose whether or not they, in fact, had mental health issues? Because little children in elementary school, well, they tend to be disruptive because they're little children. And they also tend to be, fidgety and things like that, less likely to focus and pay attention and all of those things. That doesn't mean that there's anything mentally wrong with them. That's just how it is when children are younger. But of course, the older children, well, of course, they know better. So it would seem to me that those would be the ones that they would focus most of their concerns on. Well, I guess that's not the problem for them because they'll just send them to jail, or they'll have the school's resource officers come and beat them up, slam them on the floor, and those things like we've heard about before. But let me continue. Now, one Wicomico mom who asked for anonymity because she feared retaliation from the school recalled the terror she felt when her son's school called and said they were going to have him assessed for a forced psychiatric hospitalization. So they're going to force somebody's kid to go to a psychiatric ward. Now, when she arrived at the school, she said her son was already in handcuffs. Well, here's the thing. If they have committed no crime and you're simply taking them to be mentally evaluated, why do they need to be handcuffed? I just want you all to pay attention. See, this is narratives being pushed. That's all it is. This is all it is. This is a narrative being pushed. Okay. If there's something mentally wrong with them, why the handcuffs? If they have not committed any crime. And again, some of these children are 5 years old. So imagine them handcuffing a 5-year-old. That is traumatizing. And so please tell me how this is any good and this makes sense, because if a child is already traumatized, if a child is already having mental health issues, shall I say, wouldn't putting them in handcuffs and having police officers, and for children who are Black, I'm sure they likely fear the police from things they've seen. So with that all being said, wouldn't that aid in their mental issues, perhaps? Because that's traumatization. So how does this make any sense? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it doesn't. But let me continue. And so this is what they say. She says her child was already in handcuffs and he was put in the back of a police car and taken to the hospital. So they lock you up like a criminal with handcuffs and put you in the back of a police car to take you to a hospital? Why not call an ambulance? Why not call an ambulance? Okay, I just want you all to pay attention to how they're trying to manufacture criminals out of your children. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get your children ready so that later when they're older, they can put them in prison. That's what this is all about. Make no mistake. And so goes on to say, he said his wrist hurt from the handcuffs. He was just really quiet, just sitting there, and he didn't understand why he was at the hospital. Now, the practice isn't just happening in Wicomico. Recent data shows that New York City schools still call police to take children in emotional distress to the emergency room, despite a 2014 legal settlement in which they agreed to stop the practice. That's just what I said. They will do what they want to do when they want to do it and how they choose to your children. A Kentucky school district was found to have used a psychiatric assessment on kids more than 1,000 times in a year. In Florida, thousands of school-age children have been subjected to the Baker Act, the state's involuntary commitment statute. Now, in a settlement with the Education Department's Office of Civil Rights, the Stockton Unified School District in California agreed to protocols that require other interventions before referring students with disabilities for psychiatric evaluation. In Maryland, Wicomico uses emergency petitions more often per capita than almost every other Maryland district where data is available. Baltimore City, for example. Now, last year they had 271 emergency petitions from schools, compared with Wicomico's at least 117, according to data obtained by law enforcement agencies through public records request. But Baltimore's student population is 5 times as large. So Wicomico parents describe struggling to get support for their children when they fell behind on basics like reading and math in early grades. These gaps in learning can lead to frustration and behaviors challenging for teachers to manage. And it can also lead to kids being bullied. You know, people picking on them because of their grades, because they simply don't understand. Now, this mother whose son was handcuffed said she fought for years with administrators to obtain accommodations for her child, who is autistic, an experience echoed by other parents. Her son, who also has ADHD, was several years behind in reading by the time he got to middle school. The mother said that he was sent to the hospital after an outburst rooted in frustration, not mental illness. She recalled school officials telling her that he doesn't have special needs. He just has anger issues. They were trying to get him out of the school. Well, she should have taken him out. And I find it interesting because this same mother is the one who said she wants to remain anonymous because she doesn't want retaliation from the school. What is the school going to do if her son's not even going there anymore specifically? What are they going to do? Honey, I wouldn't be scared of them. I would say whatever I want to say it and say it with my chest, okay? And say exactly who I was. Like, who are they? Now, her son had grown increasingly discouraged and agitated over an assignment that he was unable to complete. The situation escalated when the teacher argued with him. She knocked a laptop on his desk to the floor, and the school called for an emergency petition. He knocked a laptop on his desk onto the floor, and the school called for an emergency petition. After being taken to the hospital in handcuffs, he was examined and released. After that, he went from angry to terrified. See, this is what I'm saying. This is traumatizing. Every time he saw the police, he would start panicking. Well, who wouldn't at his age? This is all so ridiculous. Now, a spokeswoman for the Wicomico County, I know I'm probably saying the name of this county wrong, but hey, so what? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, for the public schools, it says emergency petitions are used in the most extreme emergency situations where the life and safety of the student or others are at risk. Now, emergency petitions, they say, are not used for disciplinary purposes and frequently do not result from a student's behaviors. This is what Tracy Sowler said in an email, saying that, in fact, a majority of the EPs are related to when a student exhibits suicidal ideation or planned self-harm. How about the ones that want to shoot up the school? Let's not leave them out. School officials did not respond to questions about why the rate of emergency petitions was so much higher in the county than in other counties in Maryland. Now, the sheriff's department declined to share records that would show the reasons for the removals. Well, he didn't want to show it because they likely didn't have good reasons. Okay, they don't want to show the records. I bet they didn't. And so by law, certain classroom removals must be recorded. Suspensions, expulsions, and arrests are the most commonly documented indicators of racial disparities in discipline. Now, schools are required by law to publicly report the data, which often triggers oversight and investigations. But with the exceptions of Florida and New York City, most places do not routinely collect information on removals from school for psychiatric assessments. This is all just nefarious. That's what it is. This is all just low down and nefarious. What do you all think about it? I think it's deplorable. Schools don't advise the parents of extended services available unless they research it, says Alice. Right. That's what they don't do. Hold on, beloveds. All right. Buckhorst says Black children don't. Well, exactly. I mean, for the most part, at the end of the day, listen, like I said, this is all an agenda, okay, that's being pushed. And I have questions as to exactly how long this has been going on, likely for years, but we're just hearing about it. Sorry, beloved, someone's texting me. All right, so now with that all being said, let's talk about Edward Cagney Matthews. Do you all remember Edward Cagney Matthews? This is the racist man who went and started mess with his neighbors and called them monkeys and the N-word and all of that. For those of you who forgot, let me just refresh in your memories. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Yes, I'm going to talk to whoever I want.
Exactly.
If you want to get involved in this, you know what happened to the last one?
I know what you did. You broke down windows.
Windows? Dude,
I don't care.
Cookie's windows got shot out with a shotgun.
I don't care.
222s to their fucking front face.
I do not care.
In Cherry Hill, their fucking daughter got smashed.
Exactly.
Is that what you want? No. And you want to know where I was when all this happened?
I don't care.
At work, monkey.
I don't care where you were.
At morgue. Just like I told the Mount Laurel police. Get these fucking monkeys. Can't do shit. That's me talking shit. 3602 Gramercy Way, that's where I live. Come fucking see me.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, White, why are you back over here?
Well, somebody called me.
Someone called you. It's private property. You have no jurisdiction here whatsoever.
I do
No.
when somebody calls me.
Hold on.
I need back up.
You know what? Hold on.
Back
Go ahead.
up.
No. I'm
Back
going to
up.
let you do your thing. Go talk to these let them know what I'm all about and what their fucking rights they have.
All right. You want to go back to your house? I'll come back to you.
No, I'll stay right here. It's common property.
That's him. He had all the smoke. Okay, he's at, first of all, he's at their house on their property calling them those names. Whoo, honey, they know who to mess with, don't they? But let me continue, because now I find it also interesting because a Mount Laurel man was sentenced to 8 years in prison in a racial intimidation case that caught viral attention. Edward C. Matthews, age 47, that's all he is 47. But let me continue, was sentenced to an 8-year prison term under a plea agreement that requires him to serve at least 4 years. Now, he's sitting up in court crying. He had all the smoke and he was so tough. right? Like that cop Karen who tased the black man because she didn't like what he said. Yeah, like she told him, you were so tough. Well, that's what he clearly thought he was. So a Mount Laurel man who stalked and harassed his black neighbors in a viral rant and challenged them to come see me was sentenced Friday to 8 years in prison after tearfully pleading for a lighter term. I love it. Edward C. Matthews must serve at least 4 years before he will be eligible for parole under the sentence imposed by Superior Court Judge Gerard H. Breland. He pleaded guilty in October to 4 counts of bias, intimidation, and a drug charge under an agreement with the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. In a case that made national headlines, Matthew was accused of harassing neighbors in the Essex Place Condominium Association in Mount Laurel. Authorities said that he called black residents monkeys, put feces on their property, sent threatening emails and letters, and shot BB pellets at their cars. He had plenty of time on his hands, apparently. Prosecutors say Matthews had a pattern of terrorizing black neighbors, as well as condo association board members, dating back to 2020. Now, residents in the racially diverse community, located about 17 miles east of Philadelphia, complained to the police, but there was never enough evidence to charge Matthews with a crime, according to the authorities. Now, the confrontations escalated on July the 2nd of 2021, when Matthews verbally attacked a resident and made a video challenging neighbors to come see me, and then gave out his address. That's where he messed up, because when he made that video giving out his address, well, some people showed up at his residence, if you all remember. Now, a video of the incident went viral, and hundreds from around the region showed up at his home, chanting his name and calling for his arrest. In court, covering the sentencing for Edward Matthews, who pleaded guilty to making a racist rant in 2021 in his South Jersey neighborhood and harassing residents and using slurs against black neighbors. He has been taken into custody after prosecutors surrounded his home for hours. That's because he didn't want to come outside. Handcuffed and shackled in court on Friday, Matthews begged for leniency, sniffling and wiping away his tears. Oh, not so tough now, are you? He said he accepted personal responsibility and offered a brief apology to the victims for my insensitive and disrespectful words in the past. He also expressed remorse that his actions destroyed his marriage and hurt his family. His wife filed for divorce and sold her townhome. He said, adding that he lost all of his possessions and spent 2.5 years in jail. That's what you should have been doing, losing all your possessions and spending 2.5 years in jail. He says, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. This is what he told the judge during a 15-minute statement. I want to commit to rebuild the community. This is all hilarious to me. Is he serious? Is he serious? First of all, he said all saints have a past and all sinners a future. He's definitely no saints. I hope that isn't what he was trying to say, okay? Jay Gray said, put him in general population. Absolutely. All right, he got exactly what he paid for. Now, in an interview with the Inquirer shortly after the incident, Matthews apologized and said his conduct stemmed from a long-running housing dispute involving the Homeowners Association. Matthews also said he was drunk. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Matthew. Here's the thing, Mr. Matthews, you thug. Saying that he was drunk, that's nothing, that's no excuse. Because for one, if he's talking about the fact that he was drunk that day, well, he didn't sound drunk, he didn't look drunk. But even if he were, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was. What about all the other times that he's been doing this? Because they have been going on since 2020. This incident that went viral was July the 2nd of 2021. What about him putting the feces in the people's yards and stuff? What about him going there and harassing them and stalking them and all of those things? What about all the numerous of times people had to complain on him? Was he drunk every single time? Of course not. So he's just trying to make nonsensical, excuses, as Karens do, both male and female Karens. And so anyway, let me continue. Now, Assistant County Prosecutor Jamie Hutchinson read victim impact statements from 4 current or former residents of the Mount Laurel Condominium Association. She said they were afraid to come to court out of fear of retaliation. Most of the victims were in their 60s and 70s, picking on the elderly. Leron Brown, the former Homeowners Association president, who is black, and his wife Denise, who is white, moved out in 2021 after numerous altercations with Matthews. The couple had lived there since the development opened in 2001. They had been there for 20 years and moved because of him. Another black board member also moved out. They say the actions of what he did will forever stay a nightmare of fear and anxiety that he bestowed upon me. That's what Denise Brown wrote in a statement. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder and trusting no one. Now, Hutchinson also cited Matthews' extensive criminal record, including 11 felony convictions since 1995. A drug conviction barred him from possessing weapons, and authorities found a slingshot and 30 rounds of ball-bearing ammunition and hallucinogenic mushrooms, which they received or when they searched his condo. Well, where are the charges for that? I have questions. But anyway, Matthews tried unsuccessfully Friday. He tried unsuccessfully on Friday to fire his attorney, Ali Ahmadiyyah, his fourth since the case began. You see, that's just a stall tactic. When these people get an attorney and they see the case isn't going the way they want it to, it's not going their way, then they want to start firing their attorneys because they want to have more time just to try to, first of all, to act as though this is all going wrong because their attorneys are incompetent, which usually isn't even the case, but also just a stall tactic. Now, the judge rejected his arguments that he missed a chance to get a lighter sentence because of ineffective counsel. Breland said he found no extenuating circumstances to grant Matthews' request for a shorter sentence and deviate from the plea agreement. He ordered Matthews to pay $4,408 in restitution and undergo racial sensitivity training while in prison. Well, he'll get that anyway when some brothers who don't look like him roll up after they find out exactly why he's there. I'm sure he'll get it. Now, Matthews has been in custody since his arrest. He will get credit for the 886 days spent in jail and will be eligible for parole in about 6 months. He should have gotten more time as far as I'm concerned. But look at him sitting here. I want you all to see this. Look at him sitting here crying. Oh, boo-hoo. I find it all so interesting. There he is. Look at him wiping away his little tears. Oh, woe is me. Now he wants to play the victim. He wants to play the victim. There's the judge right there. So I'm sorry, but no sympathy here. No sympathy here. Not from me anyway. Speaking of judges, let's talk about Judge Frank Caprio. Judge Frank Caprio is asking for prayers because he's very ill. Let me go to his Instagram. He's asking for prayers because he's going through a health issue at the moment. If you could be so kind as to lend your thoughts and prayers.
In your own way. To please pray for me. One of the happiest days of the year for me is my birthday. And recently I celebrated my 87th birthday, and I just received so many wonderful messages from people all over the world. This birthday is a little different than any other I have ever had. Quite recently, I was not feeling well and received a medical examination, and the report was not a good one. And so I have been diagnosed with cancer of the pancreas, which is an insidious form of cancer. I'm being treated by a wonderful team of doctors, both here in Rhode Island, Dr. Kadi, and at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, part of the Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. I pray that God guides their thoughts and their hands in their treatment of me. I know the Stolen Road, and I'm fully prepared to fight as hard as I can. One thing the people ask me is, what can I do for you? Well, first of all, I can't thank all of you enough for your friendship and your kind messages. But I would ask each of you in your own way to please pray for me.
All right. So with that all being said, prayers for Judge Frank Caprio. And I saw some of you in the comments saying y'all not going to pray for him and this and that. Judge Frank Caprio is a good judge. He's a fair judge and he's a good man. Okay. And he's fair with Black people who come before his court, and he's helped Black people that come before his court, as well as other people. So with that all being said, I don't judge people by the color of their skin, like Dr. Martin Luther King said, but by the content of their character. Let's not act like everyone is a devil and everyone's racist and hateful, because everyone, in fact, isn't. Okay? All right. He's a very good judge and a good person as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking you to pray for him. Let's use common sense. Okay? Now, with that all being said, Rachel said, yes, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Princess of Hollywood said she likes him. Exactly. Thank you, beloved. Okay? Very good person. So, I hope that he gets better. He's 87 years old. And whether you all know it or not, pancreatic cancer is one of the worst cancers to have. And it moves and escalates very quickly. Do you remember what it did to Patrick Swayze? So it's very aggressive is all I'm saying. So I really hope that he gets better. So my prayers for him. With that all being said, Ashley said, still don't know who he is. Well, just look him up, beloved. You can just look him up and see some of his cases, and then you'll see the good work that he does and the kind person that he is. Okay, now, with that all being said, moving right along, let me tell you something. And here's the thing. I would pray for him before I would pray for Judge Clarence Thomas. And Judge Clarence Thomas, it's my skin tone. Please pay attention. All right. So that all been said. Let's continue. So Miami police officer arrested for kidnapping. Y'all, this is all nefarious. So let's talk about it. This is all nefarious. So he was arrested for kidnapping, armed, actual battery charges as well. Officer Miguel O'Malley, 32 years old, was arrested Wednesday, and also armed burglary charges. I mean, he was out here doing the most that he could do, as far as I'm concerned. This is all so low down and dirty. But let me share the screen so you all can see the report. This is what some of the police are out here doing. Well, I don't want to find out what the criminals are up to if that's the case. Please pay attention.
Suspended tonight for a violent attack on his ex-girlfriend. His own agency put him in handcuffs and calls the allegations troubling.
NBC6's Marissa Bagg is live outside the Metro Justice Building where the officer was in court today. Marissa?
That's right, and the officer is suspended without pay at this hour. As you mentioned, he went before a judge here at the Metro Justice Building earlier today. We do want to warn you, some of the details of this case are just incredibly graphic and disturbing.
Do you understand the stay-away order, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. From upholding the law to breaking it, a Miami-Dade police officer is in jail accused of a horrendous attack. 32-year-old Miguel O'Malley is charged with burglary, kidnapping, and sexual battery. Detectives say he followed his ex-girlfriend home from a Buffalo Wild Wings in Homestead early Wednesday morning. According to the arrest report, the two were arguing, and when she got out of her car, he allegedly grabbed her by the hair, dragged her into her home, and sexually assaulted her on the stairs.
Based on the serious nature of the charges, no bonds on count 1, no bonds on count 2, the kidnapping charge, and no bonds on count 3, the armed burglary.
Detectives say the victim tried calling 911 using Siri on her phone, and when that didn't work, she screamed for her 12-year-old son to help her. That's when Lomelli left the scene. Now he's in jail, and if he gets out, the judge ordered he stay away from her.
No contact with the victim through social media or other electronic means, and you must stay at least 500 feet away from the victim, her home and school and place of employment at all times.
Lomelli spent 6 years with Miami-Dade Police and was assigned to the Uniform Patrol Unit in the South District. Miami-Dade Police Director Stephanie Daniels released a statement today saying in part, there is no place for betrayal of public trust of any kind in the Miami-Dade Police Department. The allegations of misconduct by one of my officers is extremely troubling and immediate action has been taken to hold the officer accountable. And detectives say that Lomelli was in uniform, driving his police cruiser, and even had his police-issued firearm on him at the time of this incident. They also say they have a recording of him admitting to the allegations. We are live here in Miami. Marissa Bagg, NBC6 News.
This is all so terrible when you have police officers doing those sort of things. Okay? And he should get, as far as I'm concerned, a worse punishment than an ordinary citizen who would engage in such nefarious tactics. Meanwhile, let's talk about the FBI. FBI took Cartier watches, gold bars, stacks of cash from safe deposit boxes in money laundering case. Owners want their stuff back. Plaintiffs in the lawsuit are asking the court to deem the FBI raid. Doing so could force the return of their assets. And so the owners of several luxury items, including Cartier bracelets, Rolex watches, and gold bars, are suing the FBI for seizing their property from their safety deposit boxes and failing to return them. The items were seized in a raid on a safety deposit box business in Beverly Hills accused of money laundering in March of 2021. Now, individuals with items kept in those businesses or in the business argue the government violated their 4th and 5th Amendment protections by seizing their property when they were not even involved in the case. That's absolutely crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I want you to think about this. So if you had your money in a bank or your items in a safety deposit box at a bank that was doing something shady, and then they get investigated. So they're going to go and take your money out of the accounts. They're going to go freeze your assets. They're going to take your things that are in the safety deposit boxes and keep it. Please make that make sense. That sounds like legal highway robbery, but what do I know? So officials seized over $86 million in cash and other valuables when they took possession of 1,400 safe deposit boxes from U.S. private vaults. Now, according to court documents, U.S. private vaults were regularly used for unsavory characters to store criminal proceeds. Despite depositors not being accused or charged of any crime, their life savings and valuable possessions were retained under the administrative forfeiture proceedings. See, this is why some older people don't trust banks. Now you see why? Okay, they said we brought suits on behalf of 7 clients, but we were representing a class of at least 400 people. What we've been trying to show for the past 7 months or several months is that the government's actions violated the search and seizure protection of the U.S. Constitution in the 4th Amendment. And this is what Robert Frommer, a lawyer with the Institute of Justice, said in a suit that was filed. Now, the government can seize property and cash from individuals believed to be linked to a crime without charging them under civil asset forfeiture laws. U.S. private vaults pleaded guilty to money laundering, but the U.S. Attorney's Office said that it had not filed any other charges. Despite this, renters who had their assets taken have not even received them back as of yet. So what do you all think about this? I find it all so egregious. I sure do. Just a low down. Oh, Lillian said they stay with sticky fingers. Yeah, some of them absolutely do. This is all crazy. Those safety deposits are not insured. And that's why I emptied mine, says Jay Gray. Malika said it is not okay. It absolutely isn't. Okay, it absolutely isn't. So now let's talk about this high-speed chase that led to a fatal car crash in which a 70-year-old doctor lost his life. So very sad. Because the police were chasing this 23-year-old man who was wanted on a myriad of charges. And he had a head-on collision with the doctor's vehicle, and the doctor is now deceased. Now I'm going to show the video, but I'm going to skip past some of it. Okay, and I must warn you that it does have some graphic things in there. Most of it is blurred out. Okay, let's get ready to get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
We have now footage of the response that was done in the crash that killed a 70-year-old doctor. This was a high-speed crash that started essentially in Cleveland Heights, pursuit that ended in the wrong way in Cleveland. A really horrific situation here. Dr. Curtis Burchell was killed during this. This was at 7 o'clock a couple of days ago here on the Summit Park Road in Cleveland Heights. That is when the suspect that you are going to see on your screen right now, this man right here, stole a van, and that is when a chase began. Who you're looking at right now is Jalen Jackson. He was charged with aggravated murder and aggravated robbery. He used a gun, stole a delivery van, according to police, stole a delivery van, and then police officers reported hearing shots fired. The van then went eastbound in the wrong direction on I-90. So it was going, it entered I-90 eastbound, going westbound. So it was going the wrong way. The van then crashed near the Fulton Road overpass bridge around 8. That's when the suspect, you're going to see, kind of hobbled off and was ultimately taken into custody. He's 23 years old. What stopped that van was another car. I want to very clearly warn everybody that is about to watch this with us. This video is intense. It is graphic. I'm actually going to put a graphic warning on the screen here. You are going to hear the suspect in pain. You're going to see him on the ground. He has a bloody eye. You're also going to see the car that ultimately was the result of the crash. It's a really intense scene. So I'm going to put a graphic warning one more time. I'm going to put a graphic warning on that right there because I think it's that important to just put a warning in here. Again, some intense video. What we're going to do is we're going to show you the entire thing. And then from there, we're going to, do I have the entire? All right, let me just double check because I thought I had one more video. Oh, I do. Okay. All right. So we're going to show you the full crash first, and then we'll kind of break it down. It's about 9 minutes. It's been bleeped out for swear words. It has been bleeped or blurred for graphic content. But other than that, you're seeing it in full. Let's give it a watch. Double check. You're seeing it in full.
Cleveland Heights, mother. Hey, get that gun! Get that gun! Get that gun! All right, right there. Put your Put your My leg is broke, bro. It's broke. Just leave him here. Leave him here for a sec. Hey, we're gonna need a hand lifting him up. You need help? Get him up here. He says his leg is broke. Which leg is broke? This one. John King, Barry, 1 Oh! Be careful. Go, go, go. Oh! 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 Oh, no, no, let go, let go, let go, let go. Let go, no, no, hold on, wait. Take the shoe off, gotta take the shoe off. My shoe. I can't feel it. Yeah, you probably broke your leg with that accident, man. What do you guys need? I don't know. He caused a head-on collision up there. Which leg is broke? This one. John King, Barry, 1
This is the debris. All right, so now we'll go to the next part here, which is the debris from the car. This is only 15 seconds, but you'll see where this all is. So look at this. That's on the left-hand side. That's the van. This is the debris from the crash. Then I'll show you where the car is, which is up on the right there. You see that officer approaching, that's having a tough time with this. This is the car. Just an awful, awful situation.
And that's exactly why Buckhorst DC said, get the man some help. Well, they did get him some help. I skipped past some of it, so you likely didn't see it. But as far as I'm concerned, the police were more than generous. Okay. I mean, he was wanted for murder. Okay. The police said, they asked him, which of your legs is broken? And he told them, and they said they're going to need some help getting him up there. And then they said they need an ambulance. So they did get him some help. I mean, at the end of the day, he just took someone's life. How much sympathy should they give him? I'm just saying. Okay, at the end of the day, not to mention someone else is dead thanks to his foolishness. Now, the police, in my opinion, should not engage in high-speed chases that endanger the lives of other people who have nothing to do with it. That's just how I feel. At the end of the day, they should not engage in those types of chases where someone else can get injured or possibly lose their life. Okay, but at the end of the day, that guy is to blame. Buckhorst DC said, okay, yes, ma'am, I understand. Okay, Buckhorst DC. Laverne said, I would sue the pants off the police station, okay? Nisa Q said that was bad. Yes, that was bad. It was very sad. A 70-year-old doctor lost his life because this man wants to go out here and take somebody's life and then go on a whole high-speed chase. Vince Hyam said there are safer options like helicopters. I agree. I absolutely agree. The police should not have been chasing him. Okay, Lillian says they should do away with high-speed chases when citizens are around. Just common sense. Exactly. I absolutely agree. That is common sense, or at least it should be. Okay, so condolences to the family of the doctor who lost his life. All right, condolences to him. I have no condolences for that young man. He's a whole thug as far as I'm concerned. Condolences to the family of whomever's life he took, because he was clearly running and they were chasing him because he was wanted for aggravated murder. Okay. So with that all being said, one thing about it is he made it to the hospital. Okay. He didn't get his life taken on the side of the road. All right. So with that all being said, let's talk about Terrence Howard. Now, Terrence Howard is suing the Creative Arts Association for fraud, he says. Sues them for fraud over his Empire role, saying that they looked after themselves. After Terrence Howard filed a lawsuit against Creative Artists Agency, LLC. I'm sorry, it's Creative Artists Agency, not association. Okay, alleging that the talent agency fraudulently convinced him to take less money for his role on the hit television show Empire. He says despite feeling his feeling of trust, it would be years later that Howard would discover that CAA placed their own financial interests as well as the interests of the production companies that they represented ahead of his own. So here's the thing. It was a conflict of interest because not only were they representing Terrence Howard, they were representing the production companies. That's a conflict of interest. And he says they didn't do their due diligence. So I'm going to share my screen so you all can see the video where he speaks on this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Terrence Howard announcing the lawsuit today against Creative Artists Agency, or CAA. He says his agents also represented the show's producers and put their interests above his so that he unknowingly accepted a smaller salary than he should have. And he says at the height of Empire, he was making $325,000 an episode. Howard says he's looking for justice, even if it costs him work now.
I think this is about equanimity now, and it's about accountability. It's about being a whistleblower. I know that in coming and speaking out against CAA and all of the relationships that CAA has, that this might be a death blow to me being able to secure work inside of the.
Yes, it could be a death blow, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do, beloveds. Okay, now let's talk about how they lied about these stores closing down, many of these Walmarts and whatnot, saying that they're closing down due to theft. And when they showed the footages of these thefts being committed, well, they showed mostly people of my skin tone. but there are also images of and videos of people who don't look like me doing theft as well, committing theft as well. They don't show those things. But I told you in the beginning that that's not why they were closing these stores down. A lot of these Walmarts are being closed, quite frankly, because in my opinion, they're trying to create food deserts. Okay, so keep that in mind. But here's the proof. First of all, let me show this TikTok video.
Okay, guys, if you need more proof.
I'm sorry, wrong video. Hold on. Here we go.
Hey, you remember all that breathless panic about shoplifting? You know, all those stories you've been hearing about stores closing because people are just stealing far too much? Fun fact, that was all a lie. And we have confirmation of this from the National Retail Federation. You see, in 2021, there was $94.5 billion in missing merchandise. For a bunch of reasons. They claimed that half of that was because of theft, particularly organized theft. In reality, about 5%. Just misplaced a zero. You know how it goes. Like, they used this data to drive a lot of policy, even though the data was nonsense. But this has had real effects on people's lives. They've closed stores, they've locked products up, when in reality, quote, in most major cities, shoplifting incidents have fallen 7% since 2019. Retail theft is down, but they're claiming it's way, way up as justification to mistreat customers. But what's even more ridiculous is that even though the Federation had to retract that claim and admit that it wasn't 50%, it was 5%, they are not backing down, saying, quote, we stand behind the widely understood fact that organized retail crime is a serious problem impacting retailers of all sizes and communities across our nation. Is it a widely understood fact if you had to lie about it? Like, they're blaming data collection for this, not the fact that they just fudged the numbers. Like, the number that they claimed was the total shrink, which is the amount of value lost for all things damaged, lost, and stolen merchandise. They attributed all of that to organized retail crime, because everybody knows that organized crime really pounces on those big boxes of irregular t-shirts. Like, in reality, the total organized crime retailers face is $719,000 per billion in sales. It's not even 1%. They claimed 50. Don't fall for it. They're just trying to blame you for their issues.
That's all it is, okay? Quite frankly, that's all it is. Just lies, like I told you all in the beginning, okay? So just like the Walmart, where I showed you all the video of the Walmart that was set on fire, and they said that it was set on fire so that people could steal. And then they showed two black men. One of them was wearing a bright orange vest, like a city worker, and a bright orange hat. And they said that two of these men looked like they were the ones stealing all of the stuff. Well, one of them had 2 bottles of water, or they were accusing them not of stealing, but accusing them of lighting the fires, basically, saying that they likely are the ones who started the fire so they could steal. One of them had a suitcase in his cart, and the other had 2 small cases, or not cases, but 2 small packs of bottled water. So you mean to tell me they set fire so they could steal bottled water and suitcases? You would think that someone would be stealing high-priced items like electronics, okay? And so anyway, also nefarious. And in one instance of a store catching on fire, well, it was later told to me by another employee that it was in fact someone who worked there that did it. So just as I said, I told you I was likely an inside job. All right. So with that all being said, moving right along, let's talk about the nefarious Charleston Whites. Okay. So he got jumped at a show where he was performing. Right. And yeah, he got jumped. And, it's only going to be a matter of time before something even worse happens to him. This man is clearly ridiculous. Okay. He's always saying crazy things. And then some people, specifically people who look like me, will say, well, he spits some truth sometimes. Well, at the end of the day, don't most devils? That doesn't mean that we shouldn't hold him accountable for his detrimental things that he does and says to our community. Please make it make sense. Now, this has been edited because he was using some very profane language. All of it isn't edited, but the most worst parts of what he was saying absolutely are.
Mask out. Talk right.
I already got the back here.
Talk right.
I get booed.
Talk right.
I already got the back here. I don't give a damn I get booed, nigga. I done already got paid. You paid to see me, nigga. You paid to see me. Lakers, chairs, and wine ass, nigga. Pull out some money, though. Pull out some money, though. Pull out some money, though, nigga. Bitch ass, nigga. Pull out some money. Pull up. I'll hit you on your goddamn head, nigga. Pull out some money, nigga. I'll hit you on your goddamn head. nigga, we nigga, no security, no nothing. Just 2-3 niggas. We beat up the whole city. Yeah, we beat up the whole motherfucking city. 3 niggas, no security. Mob ties, got that nigga talking that shit, nigga. And it we got the bag. Yeah, we got the bag, y'all. Bitch ass nigga. I keep telling y'all, nigga, I'm the motherfucking nigga. Bitch ass nigga, we left with the money bag and everything, bitch ass nigga. We had a great show. Had them bitch ass niggas in they feeling. This that comedy make them niggas ass poop. Them bitch ass niggas were pooped in the ground. Them whole ran up on stage. I waited for that nigga to come right.
Absolutely ridiculous and beyond nefarious as far as I'm concerned. So with that all being said, who thinks that this man has any intelligence whatsoever? Because clearly he doesn't. Now, he thought that was all funny and cute and sitting there talking about they beat up everybody and all of that. But at the end of the day, I can pretty much guarantee you that his day is coming. It's only a matter of time, like I said. This man goes around antagonizing people, you know, bragging about snitching, talking about being with the feds and all this stuff, threatening to do things, inappropriate things to people's children, like the manager or owner of that club, okay, and all sorts of things. At the end of the day, how can anybody condone his foolishness? He is disgusting as a human being. RG Titan said, you think he's an agent? Well, he probably is, beloved. I agree with you. He probably is, okay? And then let's not forget when he was walking around with the Confederate flag, okay? Wrapped and draped in the Confederate flag. He's clearly ridiculous, okay? Anybody of my skin tone that is agreeing with this fool, I feel sorry for you, okay? Because you make no sense. None whatsoever. So with that all being said, now let's talk about Tamar Braxton. Let's talk about Tamar Braxton, her boyfriend, JR, and who looks like the Monopoly man. He looks like the man on the Monopoly board, as far as I'm concerned. But let's talk about him and Tommie. So, backstory. He and Tamar had broken up. And then Tamar and Tommie from Love and Hip Hop got into it. And then next thing you know, well, JR is at a basketball game or a football game. I don't remember which, but he's at a game with Tommie. So hanging out with somebody who he knows is having a problem with Tamar, which I thought was so petty. What grown man does that? But anyway, now he and Tamar are back together and both making excuses for his nefariousness. So Tommie came out and addressed it. Now, I bring this up for a reason because usually something like this, I wouldn't even give it the time of day. But I'm going to show you all this video, which is edited as well. And then I'll give my commentary on it.
Let's get into it. So all I said was, all I said was, he had a nice suit. And from there, he was thirsty. He wanted to fly me out. What's wrong with me going to a game? What is wrong with the situation is that that is your man, as you call it. That is your man. He knew it was a situation with me and you. And he was down. He was down to play op games. I wouldn't take nothing like that serious, my love. That nigga ate my ass, and I sent him on his way. It wasn't the, I don't know, middle-class house that he lives in Atlanta. It wasn't the Bentleys, because I drive a Rolls Royce, that got me. It wasn't, I don't know, the slick part thing he got going on. It wasn't none of that. It was when he paid for the Waldorf in points. I knew that I could no longer play this game. So it was a one-night thing. He never got no. One thing, JR, you never want to play with me. You don't want me to expose how you were saying that you kicked her out and she went back to her mother's house. Not Mrs. Braxton, not Mrs. Singer with the sold out tour that JR also told me was flex. It was cap. It was she flexing. She don't have no soul. That shit between me and you was his exact words. The tour not sold out. He said you was messy. He said you went back to your mother's house. He told me a lot of things that he shouldn't tell a stranger. I just met this man less than a week. Love, if that's your man, as you say, then you need to check him. You need to really check him and check your situation and really see if you're sleeping with the enemy or not. I am not your problem. I don't know you. I wish I was drunk right now. I wish I was drunk. Because, fuck that. I'm about to post your shit, JR. I'm about to post your motherfucking shit, white boy. I tried to just let you for the motherfucking slaves. For the slaves, bitch. This hoe out here calling me a crackhead. I did it for us. For us. Bitch, I don't fucked up. Now I'm about to post your shit.
Well, that went left real quick, didn't it? I mean, she went from 0 to 100 in no time. At the end of the day, here's the thing. Tamar, well, I can't say what Tamar should be doing, but there's no way I would have taken him back. I would never have dated him in the first place. I mean, look at him. But there's no way I would take back a person who was dealing with someone like Tommie. Okay, I'm sorry. Say what now? There's no way. Where are your standards? And then Tommie's talking about the fact that she only knew him for a week, but in a week you let him eat your groceries, beloved. So make that make sense. And then as far as JR doing what Tommie says he did, that's absolutely disgusting. And he did that in a week. This is all sick. I've been talking to someone who Tamar clearly has a problem with. So both of them, Tamar and Tommie, have made fools of themselves as far as I'm concerned. And the reason I address it is because since when do Black women think that it's okay to be arguing, spewing insults, and going at one another over somebody like JR? Okay, who's clearly a clout chaser, by the way. And he has all of these babies' mamas, okay, and biracial kids just strewn about. I'm sorry, but this is a step beneath Tamar. At least it should be, as far as she should be concerned. It's absolutely sick, but hold on, because Tommie did drop the receipts. And then he posted something a few hours ago. So let's get into it. So Tommie posted some of the text between the two of them. All nefarious. All so nefarious. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Okay, so here you see, this is JR for those of you who've never seen him. And again, I say he looks like the man on the Monopoly board. Please pay attention. Now, Rare Breed Nola, that's him. He says, happy Saturday, an all-white event, but I'm the only white. That's what that says. Then Tommie says to him, you wear these suits so well. He says, thank you. They don't make them like me anymore. You always look amazing in your shoots. And then Tommie replies, definitely don't. Definitely don't. Everyone isn't able, love. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's their little going back and forth that they had. But then after Tommie made the video that you just saw, JR had this to say earlier today. Hold on, let's get into it. He says, as a man, I stand on being accountable. I never should have gone out with that lady. Now she's that lady. After you just had her face. I'm sorry, after you just had her rear end on your face. But let me continue. I never should have gone out with that lady. I never should have had conversations with her. I regret all of it. Should have never done that to Tamar. She is an amazing woman. I did some dumb shite while I was single. I love her and I'm glad I have my woman back. This too shall pass, and I'll spend the rest of my life protecting my queen. Ha! What a load of BS. The only thing he regrets is the fact that Tommie put it out there for the world to see and hear. At the end of the day, taking accountability would have been him making a statement publicly and to Tamar privately, or at least to her privately, before Tommie came out and said what she said. When someone airs you out, and then you want to say something in your own defense to try to make it, make yourself look better, because that's not him really taking accountability. If you ask me, that's him doing damage control. He doesn't respect Tamar. I don't know why she took this man back. Okay. At the end of the day, anyone who respects you would never deal with someone who does not like you, who has vitriol for you. And they especially wouldn't talk about you to that person and share your private business and tell them disparaging things about you. Like he told Tommie that he kicked Tamar out and she had to go back to her mother, and that she's messy and that she's lying. Her tours are not all sold out. He said all of those things, but she took him back. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. And I like Tamar, but that's stupid. Absolutely. Okay. That is what I call a downgrade at the end of the day. He didn't care anything about her, period. Because when people care about you, they would never do anything to make you look like a fool publicly or in private. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. Okay, yeah, it does scream desperate, says Rachel. Desperate, period. Yeah, that's what it's given. It's given desperate. And if Tommie thought that she was doing something and she was making Tamar look even more foolish, well, in the process, she was making herself look equally as foolish. Because, girl, you only knew this man for a week and you let him eat your groceries, okay? You allowed him to fly you out. So at the end of the day, yeah, both of them are looking real silly right now, as far as I'm concerned. It's a disgrace. And then she tried to say, Tommie, that is, that she did it for the slaves. Girl, please sit down. You didn't do that for my ancestors and yours either. Okay? And so anyway, Soft and Spicy said they both look thirsty. Yes, they do. They look thirsty and desperate and sad and pathetic to boot. Okay, that's just what it looks like to me. But I digress. Couldn't be me is all I'm saying, honey. Couldn't be me. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's get into it because the last receipt of the day, hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah, one more receipt for today. And also, let me say, when I was talking about Tupac yesterday, and I thought that his friend who went on tour with Biggie was the one who got killed. That was in the Hit 'Em Up video. That wasn't him. That was Gaddafi. Now, Gaddafi was only 19 years old, but I just thought it was so sad, you know, that he got killed. He lost his life 2 months after Tupac. But that's who that was. It was Gaddafi. So let me correct myself. Okay, so with that all being said, let's talk about it because Tough News TV had some receipts, or basically they were talking about what's going on with Cassie. They said they have a very reliable source. I'm not going to show their video. I don't have their permission, but I will play the audio. Okay, please get the likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. All right, so let me get this video queued. It'll take just a second, or the audio queued, shall I say. Here we go.
The person who is getting violated safety as well. But at the end of the day, I don't see an excuse here. Somebody should have contacted the police. Somebody should have said something back in the day, whether it was Diddy's security guards, whether it was former artists that were signed to his label. It just seems like everybody was spineless. Nobody had a backbone. And I'm telling you right now, if Diddy had did right by everybody financially, a lot of people will still be quiet. And that's including Cassie, because pride, he didn't want to settle, so basically he forced her hand and she filed that lawsuit against him. So it's just crazy to me how, you know, when things have transpired back in the day, nobody wants to talk about it then, but all of a sudden you want to expose somebody now. And it seems as though a lot of people are just ticked off with Diddy because he didn't do what he was supposed to do financially, and now you want to talk. But anyway, guys, what I want to do right here is get into this information, and this information is straight pressure. All right. So it says here, what's up, bro? I was at a party here in Vegas, and it's a lot of people in town to see the in-season NBA tournament tonight. I had a chance to talk and get some insight on some more information involving Diddy and all the shenanigans. The first thing I have learned is that Jay-Z and Usher cut Diddy from Usher's Super Bowl halftime show. I'm told Jay-Z pulled the plug after Usher said he was uncomfortable with the ongoing allegations. Usher also said that what Cassie and the other victims went through is reminiscent of the past and very triggering for him. Pay attention to that, guys. I'm told that before the NFL reached out about their concerns about Diddy being involved in the upcoming halftime show, Jay-Z had already nipped it in the bud. I'm also told that Cassie is working with other victims to file lawsuits against Diddy from other states and from across the pond. It's also been expressed to me that about 9 other victims have contacted Cassie's lawyers, who are all claiming to have been AR'd and affixed, I'm paraphrasing here, guys, by Diddy. One of the victims, who was an up-and-coming artist, is saying that when he contacted Diddy back in 2014 about filing a lawsuit against him for forcing him into committing acts, that happened in a studio in Atlanta back in 2012. The victim says he was tracked down, intimidated, asphalted, and I'm paraphrasing, guys, and thrown into the dumpster by Diddy's goons. He went on to say that he only maintained his silence because he was afraid of retaliation that would not only affect him, but his family. I have also been told that Cassie is in talks of doing an interview with Oprah and Gayle King together. Cassie is also in the works of doing a documentary about Diddy. Also, Kim Porter has been said to have recorded videos of herself talking about her tumultuous relationship with Diddy, and I'm told that Cassie has those tapes. Kimora even has more videos, and that those clips will be included within the documentary series. So maybe that's why Kimora is on the run now. But I'm going to be at events all day, and tonight I will touch base later, 100. All right, so you guys just saw and heard that. Now you all know the drill. To protect the integrity of my platform, I'm going to say that all the information that I just conveyed to you is all alleged, even though I know that I'm getting my information from a trusted individual, all right? But I will say that when I first read this email, one of the things that stood out is what Usher had to say, basically, right? So Usher said that the things that happened to Cassie and the other victims were reminiscent to him and also triggering. What is he trying to say there? You know what I'm saying? And then you have the guy who was an up-and-coming artist that said that Diddy forced him to do some things that, you know, he didn't want to do as far as like being intimate with him. And so when he came back a couple of years later and basically said, hey, man, I'm trying to hold you accountable, basically just drop me off some dollars and we can just leave it here. Basically, he was intimidated and ultimately thrown in the garbage can by Diddy's goons. That is highly offensive. Now, make no mistake about it. I'm not saying that it's more offensive than what took place in that studio, according to this guy. But what I am saying is, you talk about adding insult to injury. Come on, man. To the 10th power. Now, last but not least, Diddy is done. You know, once Cassie sits down with Gayle King and Oprah together and she starts to tell her story, and then on top of that, she's working on a documentary talking about what transpired during the time she was with Diddy, he is finished. I see prison ahead. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you feel the same.
All right, so there you have it. There you have it. Shout out to Tough News TV for keeping receipts. At the end of the day, listen. Now, like he said, this is all alleged, okay? But at the end of the day, if these things are true, well, this is the end of Diddy. And someone said in the chat that this has to do with that lawsuit Diddy filed. Well, I told you all that. I told you all that days ago that this all started when Diddy filed that lawsuit. At the end of the day, he lost his protection. But that doesn't negate the fact that all of these people saying these things could very well be telling the absolute truth, beloveds. Okay? Oprah and Gayle doing a documentary about it. Well, I'll just wait for 50 Cent's documentary to come out since 50 said it first. And I like 50 a whole lot better than I could ever like Gayle and Oprah. Okay? Or shall I say Kale and Oprah. Oh, but I digress. Now, with that all being said, Alberta said, Usher having flashbacks, shaking my head. Poor kid, 13, when his mom sent him to the devil. Yes, Usher said, allegedly said that it was triggering and reminiscent. With that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so already, be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And I hope to see you all in the chat in the morning for your morning wake-up call. Until next time, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Soul all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got